both internal, obviously from like marketing sort of aspects, like fleecing people of money for other kind of confidence strictures, and of course the political system, which could just feed them a load of absolute garbage, and they'll continue to be happy little workers doing what they do, but obviously being completely in the dark and unable. So yeah, it's a bit of a two-way thing, really. I mean, my personal sort of viewpoint is you really want. I mean, I can't see much value to having a society which is like that. Really, I really can't. I can't see much point of having a society which is its modus operandi, its way of functioning is simply to unquestionably followed orders of above. I mean that might work in a smooth running society, but I think that clearly indicates that you haven't got a very good society. A really good society is one where everyone can question what the hell's going on, and that's the way that the society will progress forward. Um, and I know that will bring attendant problems. I mean, particularly in manufacturings and things like that. If you have to constantly change your jigs and your machines and stuff, that makes things much more costly, and so on and so forth. It's much easier if you can just turn out the same product over and over again, and it's much more profitable to have things that way. But then again, this all comes back to what kind of society do we want to live in? What kind of society have we got that we live in, and so on. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem as well. But it's food for people to think about. As this is a reflection of those sort of things. And then yeah, the other thing, blame the victim. The whole kind of thing is, oh, if you were so stupid to do this. I mean, I must admit, I mean the kind of I don't know. I mean, maybe they weren't feeling well that day or something like that. Ever thought of that? Maybe they just weren't paying attention properly enough, and some part of the information wasn't completely being absorbed into their mind. Are they who's the real victim then? Did they really deserve that? Because and that's a kind of very harsh kind of sort of morality. I think you've really made a mistake if you think that people who have been knowingly deceived are completely, of to blame and of no sympathy, not worth any sympathy at all. I just don't understand that. I really don't. In fact, no, that's not completely true. I do kind of understand it because this is a psychological mechanism that is employed to shift the resources which they would obviously then put into helping the victim or whatever you want to call them. I don't really like the word victim very much, but it'll have to do for the time being. So yeah, it's not a it's it's not a good way of dealing with the situation. Really, it's it's not well. Yeah, actually, this comes on to actually to the um, reasons why that like scams and frauds and all these kinds of things are not a very um, well, the problems with them basically. What is the real for? Why would you want to perpetrate one of these scams and frauds? Then the only real positive that I can think that comes out of it is personal gain. So if you're successful in managing this, then you will gain some financial benefit. Um, and that's it. That's all I can think of as be a positive for it. However, I can think of a considerable number of negatives about this, and some of these negatives you'd have to be crazy to just to willingly exchange some passing physical wealth for some of the things that I'm going to talk about now. So destroys the trust and degrades society. The trust in society. The only reason our society works is because trust. Okay, because what I say, you believe what I say. That I'm saying that I'm sincere in what I'm saying. Okay, um, that's how we ever get anything done. I say I'm going to meet you at 2 o'clock Monday, whatever, in a certain place. You go there, and I go there, and we trust each other, because that's just the way communication works. If you don't trust what I'm saying, then you're never going to do that, and nothing's ever going to get done. So that is a really, you're really trying to shoot yourself in the foot if you're going to start screwing around with trust in what you said. Um, what's that old phrase? My my words, my honour bound, or something, bound by my word, or by, that kind of thing. And the reason for that is because, this is the fundamental sort of basis by which society can work. If you take that away, then you haven't got society anymore. You haven't got anything. You've just got a bunch of disparate individuals, and that isn't a society. That's just a chaotic mess. And that's the part I mean by degrading society. That's the result of continuing to do those sort of things. Anyway, right, okay. So onto and degrades oneself. So this comes back onto saying, uh, my words, my honour, and all that kind of stuff. Um, there's no honour in doing this kind of thing. This kind of practice. Supposing you have scammed someone. Oh, you're really really clever and so forth. That you've managed to do that. Well, maybe you could feel that way, but you're also really low. You're a parasite. Actually, you're a parasite. You're not communicating. You're not bringing anything. This comes back to what I was saying before about this whole idea that when someone's been defrauded or scammed or whatever, like this Alistair Crowley guy saying, "Oh, I'll teach you the biggest secret." Don't believe everything you're told. Um, that is that you're not. That's not teaching. That's not giving anyone anything. Okay, that's an illusion to think that this is okay what you're doing. But it isn't. It isn't. This is a parasite way of acting, and parasites are obviously low, mean, cold, unfeeling usually, and it degrades your position in the world, in life, and so on. It's the lowest position of the low. I personally, I'd rather be dead than I couldn't live like that. It's a horrible. It's not a life. It's not a life. It's barely hanging on. It's the whole survival mentality. You've gone amok. That's it. So yeah, no honour. A life without honour is not worth living, if you ask me. And obviously it harms ordinary people, and they're just like you usually. There's like you and me, they're just ordinary people like us that are just trying to get through life in our little lives. There's nothing brilliant about my little life. It's just an ordinary little life that I want to live. But surely you have as much right to live your own ordinary little life as I have to live my ordinary little life. And why would I want to harm your life? How does that really sort of do anything very well? And it doesn't, does it? I mean, I don't deserve to have my life. I'm sure you don't deserve it either. There's no way. There's no way you could convince me any other way. I think that's just about everything I've got to say about this whole business.